estimates as presidential candidate and through our party, this is what we think, not what they have been telling us, but we start from where they have been telling us. That in the last 5 years, we Kenyans have lost from corruption, both the hard and soft. We are distinguishing the hard and soft corruption, about Kenya shillings 10 trillion. Our rate of calculation has been 5 billion per day, not 2 billion. That's their figures. Those are the figures that His Excellency the President was told by the people who have been stealing. So take it, start from the premise he was not told the truth. That also must have been corruption that is just within government. We were not told about the other corruptions and the soft corruption. This in 10 years translates to, let me use that, and even if it's not 10, 20 trillion, you and I don't have to go far to guess for a nation like this that we could have lost as much as that money. This is to corruption. I'm talking about the daily corruption. For us, we are using a rate of 5 billion. You can even use 3, and even if you use 2 trillion, you still find that in the last 10 years, we've lost about 10 trillion. That is payment, one day, pap, of the external or the Chinese debt, one day. One day, lost in one day. 10 trillion, take even their 2 billion. And we are told it's because of that external debt that UNGA is now 200 Kenya shillings. But I'm saying to you that if Kenya was being shepherded by our leaderships, the past and the ones before, we wouldn't be there. We wouldn't be having that debt. We have also been told when that debt, if it were not for that debt, prices would even be lower. But we are giving you the reasons. Nobody else has been giving you the reasons. If you consider that the same leaders that are spearheading and alleged to be leading in this competition, whether they are doing so from the front or the middle or the back room, are the same leaders that have been in our government for the last 20 years. We in Agano and with our researchers and our estimations, we also estimate that even in the government before this regime, we could have lost as much money as the same. Some could argue it's speculation, but this is a very wealthy nation. We've got oil, we've got minerals, titanium and others. They speak glowingly about us. We've got potential, we've had it. When they sit at the United Nations, they think of nations in Africa, they think about Kenya. I'm talking to you something close to pocket change, arguing that even in the regime before this one, we could have lost as much as that. I'm not far off the mark. If you agree with me for a moment or you speculate with me, then if it's 20 trillion during this regime, then in the last one, it was 20 regime. And I'll argue my case some more. So that even the two regimes, you agree with me that we are dealing with 2020, that's about 40. What as a nation could we not have done with that? Let's even give the benefit of doubt and say the last two regimes, 20 trillion. What could we have not done? I'll tell you what they have said in the international circles about that. Hang on. We'll tell you how we arrived at these estimates. I've mentioned this. How else did we get here? Kenyans and Kenyans' wealth has been stashed abroad, which is another big elephant in the room. In or about 2017-2018, it was widely reported by reputable international groups and organizations that wealth Kenyans were hiding abroad, illegally acquired, was more than Kenya shillings 15 trillion. Assuming that's correct, this is another almost twice the amount of the Chinese loan. In 2017-2018 budget statement, the then Treasury Secretary Henry Rotich gave Kenyans amnesty to return that money. To date, we have never been told whether that money was ever returned. If in 2017 and 2018 it was 15 trillion, forget what else you get in the social media. You can manipulate, that space is manipulatable, and by big governments. We argue that 5 years from 2017, if it's 15 trillion, right now we could be talking about 20 trillion. You can even have the figures I'm giving you, and you imagine where we would be as a nation. You know, secrets and absence of Uwezi and Ukweli has been the manner and method of our leaderships. If you take my 20 million, 20 trillion, stashed abroad, 20 trillion, in this regime, 20 trillion in the other, what are you dealing with? You can even have it to 30. Remember also the last 10, 20 years, are the years when our competitors have been in power, are also the years we've had such mega scandals. And just to refresh our memories, KEMSA, National Youth Service, SGR, Goldenberg, Eurobond, Triton, Symmetry, Anglo Leasing, Afia House, Chicken Gate, Fighter Jet, NCPD, Grad Regency, Takwell Station, Navy Ship, Mahindra, Maze, Japan Scandal, Kidero, Helicopter Servicing Contra, Hustlers Jet, Ruaraka Land, Karen Land, Laptop Tender, and the list goes on. Kenyans, we in Nagano are saying that our problem, we are where we are because of grand corruption, grand wastage, grand mismanagement. And Kenyans, some who are our competitors and they want to be recycled back, stashing money which first of all is illegally obtained. But also, even if part of it may not be, if it were here in Kenya and they really love their country, we would not be in the economic mess that we are in.